passive income business ideas. Okay, I have a list of 10 to 11 smart and low maintenance business ideas that anyone can use to earn passive income. Because, okay, the key to wealth is to make more money than you spend, right? And a great strategy to sustain that is to save and invest your money so that it goes to work for you. Hey Sean, look, I can make money in my sleep. Yes, so that's the goal, which means we need to invest into cash flowing assets, which in most cases are going to be real businesses. And right now, I'm also trying to build my own portfolio of passive businesses. But okay, how can you do this? And where do you get started, especially if you have very little time? Well, you're going to love this video because today I'm going to cover what makes a business passive, 10 to 11 passive income business ideas, and the secrets to building a passive business portfolio. So let's get started by first clarifying what is a passive income business. So I like to follow the IRS tax definition because, okay, the tax rates on passive income can be as low as 0% depending on factors such as how long you held the business investment or passive activity for, the amount of profit earned or net income made, and your overall taxable income from other income sources. Now, according to IRS publication 925, passive income falls into two categories. Number one, a business or trade activity that you do not materially participate in, which in general, material participation can be summarized as a business or activity where you're working more than 500 hours a year or you are substantially involved in the operations. In other words, if you're working less than about 10 hours per week, then that business is considered to be passive. The second type of passive activity defined by the IRS is number two, any rental activities, even if you materially participate, except for activities where you are fulfilling your duty as a real estate professional. So passive activities in this category can be things such as leasing equipment or other assets, rental real estate, limited partnerships, or businesses and farms where you as the individual do not materially participate in. And you can be involved in these activities by simply investing your money and spending a little bit of time. And I have some passive business ideas that fit into both of these categories. All right, so now that we understand all that, let's go ahead and talk about my list of passive income business ideas. But really quick, before I dive in, if you're new to my channel, let me briefly introduce myself. Hey there, I'm Sean, a self-made millionaire and entrepreneur, and right now I'm on a mission to help people start, fund, and grow their businesses. Hey, if you get any value from this video, please do me a favor and like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying really hard to get my numbers up, so if you do, please tell me in the comment section below what number subscriber you are so that I can personally reply to thank you. All right, let's talk about how this video is going to be structured. I have 11 business ideas for you, and these are businesses that you can either A, start yourself, like completely from scratch, or B, businesses that you can buy and cash flow from day one. I'm going to start with some easier businesses and then build up from there. So passive income business idea number one are vending machines. Vending machines are very low maintenance compared to many other businesses that you can start or buy because you don't have to do any work to sell the product. So basically you can be anywhere in the world and someone may still walk up and make a purchase at your vending machine, which feels like easy money. But remember, for a business to be truly passive in the view of the IRS at least, we are aiming for something that we can manage in 10 hours or less per week. And there are a few different types of vending machines that you can run, such as an ice vending machine, food vending machine, and a supplies vending machine. And each of these different vending machines have different maintenance requirements. For example, an ice vending machine is easier to maintain because for the most part, you just need to clean the machine each week and maybe add some salt. Whereas a food vending machine requires you to restock and buy more inventory of food, usually each week. Now, here's another major caveat, and this applies to every business idea on my list, which is, okay, the size and the scope of the business may also determine whether or not it is passive. For example, someone who owns 100 vending machines but is the sole operator probably won't be able to manage the business passively, at least without hiring a lot of help. whereas someone who is managing 3 to 5 vending machines probably can do that pretty easily as a passive business. Now, a vending machine in a high traffic area that is well maintained can earn about $300 per month. So if you have about 5 of those, that's an extra $1,500 per month. Not bad. Let's keep going with passive income business idea number 2, ATMs. So instead of putting in a vending machine in a high traffic area, you could put in an ATM and still make pretty good money, because ATM owners make money from extra fees or surcharges for the convenience of letting people withdraw money from their machine or ATM. So usually these fees are about $2.50 per transaction. So if 8 people use your ATM machine per day, you would earn about $20 per day or $600 per month. And if you have a few of those, you can stand to earn maybe an extra $2,000 per month. Hey Sean, look, my ATM is printing money. Also, newer ATMs even have advertisements that can be shown on the screen while things are processing, giving the ATM owner even more passive income. Now, the primary maintenance requirements of an ATM are going to be, of course, making sure you're supplying the machine with cash and making sure you're replacing the paper and the ink for the machine, clearing up any paper jams from the cash or the receipts, and of course, making sure the machine and the software are all working properly. Okay, let's move on to passive income business idea number 3. I have laundromats. So laundromats are low maintenance businesses too, because once again, the machine is doing all the work for you. So for the most part, you just need to make sure your location is clean, the machines are working, and then pick up your coins. Now, since it is a simple business idea, almost anyone can understand it, which means you could easily hire someone to manage a location for you. The biggest headache will probably be dealing with the machine repairs, but of course, you can outsource that as well. Now, the average laundromat makes about $60,000 per year in revenue, according to Laundry Solutions, and leading to an extra $5,000 per month in passive income. Now, I also love laundromats because, they almost never fail. They have a very high success rate of 95%, according to some very credible sources. Now, I have an entire video where I break down more business ideas with very high success rates. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link to it down in the description below and at the end of this video so you can check it out right after you finish this one. All right, so those are 3 ideas that I would consider to be at level 1, because these are simple and very easy to execute. But as a consequence, they typically make less money and are harder to scale due to the ongoing maintenance requirements. Now let's get into some level 2 business ideas, and these are ones that can easily meet our passive business requirements because they have less maintenance, and with that they have more scale, but of course they require more capital. Let's start with number 4, long-term real estate rental property. Now this is a very popular business because, people will always need a place to live, and people prefer to live in places where there are great resources nearby. So the business model behind rental property is proven, and many successful real estate investors will simply teach you how to find a great location with good migration and good jobs, get good debt on the property, find great tenants and let them pay off the mortgage with some extra cash flow for you, and then repeat the process. And you definitely can manage 1, 2, even 10 properties as a passive business, because once you get the property, move the tenant in, then all you have to do is collect monthly rent and handle any maintenance or repairs that come up from time to time. So how much passive income you make ultimately depends on the size of the property and how many properties you own. But the average cash on cash return for a rental property is about 10%, and the average landlord makes about an extra $200 to $300 per month per property. And so if you can get 10 properties, that's an extra $3,000. Now, I have over $1 million invested into multifamily real estate, and the way that I like to invest is through syndications, where basically someone else is the active or general manager of the property or the building, and I am the limited partner. So it becomes super passive for me because all I have to do is give someone my money who is very experienced in real estate, and they take care of the rest. Closely following long-term real estate is number 5, short-term rental property. The most popular version of this right now are going to be Airbnb style businesses. And the benefit here is that you can make more cash flow by renting out your property to people at a daily rate rather than at a long-term monthly rate. Another example of a short-term rental business would be stuff like renting out your car. So many people turn to apps like Turo as a means to make some passive income. Also, if you have a pool, then you can allow someone to rent out your pool for a day using a site called Swimply. All these are great examples of short-term rental property businesses, but the trade-off here is, okay, you're likely going to have to do some more maintenance and more management responsibilities, which requires more time. However, remember, any rental activities still are considered passive businesses, at least in the eyes of the IRS. Now, the second approach to short-term rental real estate is flipping properties. This is where you find a distressed property, fix it up, and then resell it. Now, obviously, this takes a lot more time and effort. Plus, the risk is elevated because you could buy a property where it requires more money to fix than it can sell for. But look, if you're willing to spend the time to learn and invest, if you can flip 4 properties per year at a $15,000 profit, that's an extra $60,000 per year, amortized to $5,000 per month, which is solid. Okay, at number 6, I have self-storage facilities. This is another easy passive income business because it requires very little time, and today people have more stuff than ever before. So the demand for storage facilities are really strong. And Nick Hubbard, a self-storage facility owner, had this to say about his company and his time.
We get maybe 5 or 6 customer service calls a week. So on top of our other 6 facilities, this is very, very low touch, this property, but it still looks great. Customers love it. We have a lot cheaper prices than the extra space storage up the hill that spent $100 a square foot to build their property.
He breaks the numbers down for one of his facilities, which was, okay, he bought the property for $482,000 plus $10,000 in closing costs, which more than likely required a 10% down payment of about $50,000. Okay, his annual revenue was $90,000. His annual expenses were $22,000, consisting of utilities, accounting, software, outsourced maintenance, and marketing, leaving a net operating income of $68,000, which is an extra $5,500 per month in passive income. So if you want to join the storage facility business, you have a few options. Number 1, you could buy an existing storage company like our friend Nick did, which, by the way, I have an entire video where I break down how to buy a business, which I'll link at the end of this video. Number 2, you could find a commercial real estate area and then build out your own storage facility, which admittedly is probably the hardest way. Or you could do number 3 and become a limited partner in someone else's storage business, which is something that I personally would love to do. Now, another passive business that you can actually combine with storage facilities is number 7, event and tool rentals. Because when people are hosting big events, they prefer to rent stuff like chairs and stages and decorations and tents and so on. So you could easily store these popular supplies and materials that people often need for their events and then rent it out as a passive business. And managing this can take very little time. You just have to do some upfront work where you are purchasing the rental supplies and then establish a pickup facility. And then from there, the ongoing maintenance would be number 1, making sure all the rentals are returned on time. And then number 2, make sure all the supplies remains in good condition. And you could even hire some staff and add on a delivery component where you are dropping off the rental supplies and materials. And at that point, you can get really advanced by renting out more stuff like porta potties or photo booths and much more. Now, I have a good friend who makes $6,000 per month with her rental business, and I'll be interviewing her for my channel very soon. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already so you can check that out when it drops. All right, so those are 4 more business ideas that I would categorize as level 2 businesses because, once again, they require more capital, usually because you're buying some real estate to get started, but at the same time, they're more scalable and they're more passive. Now let's move on to level 3 business ideas, And these are going to be companies that have even more capital or time requirements, but they also have more scale. So let's dig in with number 8, digital products. So what are digital products? Well, simply put, these are products that can be sold and delivered digitally. Now, typically this would be stuff like exclusive content, think like Netflix or YouTube memberships, online courses, mobile and desktop apps, premium music subscriptions, or premium stock images and video subscriptions, and so on. And so since these products can be developed one time and sold forever, they can become their own passive businesses. Now, technically, you can develop digital products for free or with very little money, but here's the thing, okay? In order to turn this into a real company that produces cash flow consistently, then you're going to need a very reliable traffic source, which typically would involve having a popular website or popular blog, or having a big social media page with a lot of fans, or a YouTube channel. And that can require a lot of time and human capital to get it started. So it can take 1, 2, 3 years of consistently making content yourself or hiring someone else to do it to build up a sizable audience that consistently buys your digital products. But once you do build up that audience, the earning potential is almost unlimited. Okay, there are people on TikTok and YouTube who make millions of dollars selling online courses, tools, and other programs. Okay, passive income business idea number 9 is start a drop shipping store. Welcome to the modern world where you can start an online retail store without the hassle of buying inventory, working with manufacturing plants, packing up products, and then shipping them out to customers, because it's all automated through drop shipping. And this industry is estimated to be worth $100 billion as it continues to grow year over year. But this type of business also has really high failure rates as well, because almost anyone can start it. And the truth is, okay, the trick to a successful dropshipping business is really about the marketing and advertising around the product. Okay, let me explain. So experienced drop shippers in this space will find a trend, like something that is really hot on social media, and then they'll also find a product that matches that trend. And so once they have that product, they start creating organic content and really good social media ads in order to get more awareness on that product and explode that business growth. And so this is really a good space for people who consider themselves to be savvy marketers or just have experience in advertising. And these people sometimes switch up their products every 6 to 12 months just to make sure they keep up with the trends. All right, now let's move on to business idea number 10, join a franchise. Now, I'll be honest, this is probably the second hardest thing on my list to make passive because, okay, for starters, most franchises want the buyer to be the operator in order to get approved as the franchisee. And that makes sense, right? Like, they want the buyer to have some financial stake and some real ownership, so they treat the business right and they keep the franchise's brand very healthy. So if you go this route, the type of franchises you want to look into are, of course, ones that allow you to hire an operator and ones that allow you to be passive. And you can refer back to my list, right? Like maybe that is franchising a storage facility or a car wash, or maybe it's a packing and shipping store. There's a lot of options. Now, the key to making this work is you're likely going to have to hire a day-to-day operator to run the franchise, which requires you to be the manager of that person and work with them very often. Which brings me to number 11, how to make any business passive. And this is something that I did. So oftentimes as entrepreneurs or business owners, we know how to get one step ahead, right? Usually we start off doing everything, then we make some money, and with that money we say, okay, now I can hire someone to take this task off of my plate. And then you start making some more money and you say to yourself, cool, now I have enough money to hire someone else to take this task off of my plate. And then again and again, and as that cycle continues, you somehow remain stuck working in the business that you started. But if you want to go from active to passive, what you should consider doing is getting 2 steps ahead. So step 1 would be hire someone who is able to do all your current tasks right now, And step 2 will be hiring someone who would do whatever you could think of you would want to do next, right? Like maybe that is improving the products or services or putting in employee benefits. So now, not only do you have someone who is handling all the work you currently have, but you also have someone working on whatever you would do next. And plus, you have 2 people, which means the tasks and projects you have can be completed much faster. Now, here's something that I didn't put much emphasis on in this video, but it's very important to note, which is, okay, if you want to build passive income or have a passive business, then it's going to require some capital, AKA some startup money, and a little bit of your own time. Now, everything that I can think of requires at least those 2 things to work. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear from you, so comment, like, subscribe, all of that. Coming up next, I have 2 more videos that I mentioned I would link at the end, so check those out if you haven't already, and I'll see you over there.